Welcome back to Light the Land Podcast. I'm your host, Steven. I am here with two guests today. We have Caden and Will. We're both on our podcast last week. For those that listen, we hope you enjoyed. For those that are new, welcome to Light the Land Podcast. We're going to be talking about hockey for about the next hour here. Some of our different thoughts on the past games, some trade rumors, as well as a recap on how our teams are doing itself. Starting with a recap of the hockey games, we had a couple big games. Ovechkin getting closer to Gretzky's record. He's now 11 away. Starting off with that, what are you guys seeing from Gretzky's game? Capitals are still the number 2 team, I think, right now. In the standings, they're staying up there. What are you guys seeing from the Capitals in their gameplay recently?
Steve, they're number 1 team.
Are they number 1 in the division or number 1 in
the Metro?
Because I thought the Jets were up. I thought the Jets were on top of them.
Should be on top.
Because the Jets just had that crazy 10-game win streak, and then they just lost to the Preds. So I could be wrong, but
they lost to the Preds.
Yeah, they lost to the Preds, I believe, 2-1. I think that's the game that caused them to lose that streak. But yeah,
they were very hot.
They were very hot. Yeah. They were very hot, and then you had,
along with, I think, the top of the other side of the East, on the East, the Leafs, the Panthers, and the Lightning are all red hot right now. Last week, these past 10 games,
they are. Leafs just had a huge win in overtime against the Penguins, but they've also been going crazy right now. Same with every single one of those teams. The top of these divisions, the top of these conferences, they're so stacked this year. And then even with the Panthers, they had we'll talk about trade rumors and trades later, but you had a crazy acquisition for them to try to go win the cup, and you have all these different things happen. Like, you have the top of the teams, like the Capitals. They continue with their star power on Ovechkin. As I said, he just got another goal last night against the Lightning, and that put him 11 away. Pretty nice routine shot for Ovechkin. But the team just stays up there.
But they would lose that game.
They do lose that game.
That was the only goal they scored that night.
They do go on to lose. But talking about scoring, let's talk about the Stadium Series game. We had the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets in one of the more interesting games that probably happened this week, aside from it being a Stadium Series, where it was being hosted at the Ohio State University 2024 National Champion, Ohio State University. Not only having it being held at the Shoe, but you have one of the greatest teams for that area, the Columbus Blue Jackets, coming in clutch, winning the game on, I will say, a controversial call. It's very controversial.
By the rule book, though.
By the rule book, but very controversial. For those that didn't see it, Will, would you like to explain what happened?
Yeah, add to me if you need to, but I'm not sure who was it. Who was it that scored?
I do not recall who scored right now on the top of my head.
I think it was Fantilli.
Fantilli had the empty net.
Yeah, no,
but it was a different one. Yeah.
I can't remember who he had sticked either, but just kind of going in, a couple of minutes left in the game. It's all tied. And also, keep in mind that these are the 2 teams in the wild card spot. So,
2 teams in the wild card.
Yeah, but there was a high stick by the guy that scored. That was just a missed call. And right a couple seconds after the high stick, he just went and scored. So, obviously the Wings were very upset about that, especially in such a big game. But, it's a tough job to be a ref out there, so.
And it wasn't reviewable. So, by the rule book,
because they didn't raise their hand.
It wasn't called the ice, by the rule book, that's how it goes, but maybe iffy in some eyes.
Oh, no, definitely.
So Columbus wins at 5-3.
Columbus wins at 5-3. It was definitely a controversial call. It's tough to say because it was clear after watching on many people's eyes that there was high sticking, almost undeniably. And he goes in and gets that goal. But as much as it sucks, you can't just blame it on that one thing. Detroit outshot Columbus 46-21.
Yeah.
Like, they were doubling their shots. If you're not able to capitalize on that, there's got to be something else going on. Maybe it's terrible shot selection, but like, you can't be doubling their shots and not have anything go.
It's great goaltending.
It could be great goaltending too.
He's standing on his head this year.
He has been standing on the head, and that's why Columbus has been playing really well. And I mean, it's even ironic that two Michigan men get goals at Ohio Stadium, showing that the Wolverines still own the Buckeyes, unfortunately. If you couldn't tell my Ohio State bias. But, I mean, the goaltending in that game was still spectacular. Like, it was a 3-3 game for not even a while. It was 3-2 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, and then DeBrincat goes ahead and ties the game. I would say even later. Or not later, obviously, because it finished out in regulation. But, like, that was one of the wildest endings to a game that happened this week. I mean, Patrick Kane was able to get a goal. Showtime showing up. Like,
I do think that was the second most in-person viewed hockey game in NHL history. I think it was, which I mean makes sense because they don't usually play outdoors. But yeah, just thought that was pretty cool. See the sport growing, outdoor games. Everyone loves those. So,
I mean, yeah, you had the big Johnny Gaudreau flag, right in the stands. That was nice to see, and they had a lot of Gaudreau this weekend. From what everyone could see, the family leading out the team into the tunnel, like, it's very, very cool to see. The script on the ice was amazing. I don't know if it could have looked any better, but it was a great game. Great game between both those guys. I mean, do you guys like seeing the Stadium Series? Because it just got announced that in 2027 they're going to be going to Utah. And it's going to be the biggest sporting event to ever happen in Utah. So, like, do you guys want to keep seeing these Stadium Series and Winter Classics and everything? And
Absolutely. I don't think there's a single fan that doesn't want to see this. The jerseys are always cool. The spectacle's always cool. They sell out these huge, huge arenas. Playing outdoors with the weather, it's a whole new atmosphere, and then the goalies that wear the winter hats, like, it's just something special, it really adds to the game, and, it makes it fun for the players as well. It's fun for the fans, fun for the players, really cool ordeal, and maybe you can't do it every week, but the fact that we get to do it at all, super awesome.
Yeah, well, those are all amazing points, but at least from what I remember as a kid, like, granted, we only had the Winter Classic, usually. We were really young. But, I was always pumped to see outdoor games. And I remember staying up it was in the middle of the day, but getting up in the morning, being super hyped to see the Winter Classic, even though Sabres usually aren't too good in them. But, it's always so fun, especially, if you get some snowfall. But even, you'll see they put some of these places in warmer places, like in California a couple of years ago.
yeah,
That was really cool, and it's just, and you can also get a lot more fans there, so they're all fun.
see, that's the only reason why I brought it up, because I personally love them. I think they're great. I think it definitely expands the sport, brings it to a different audience, and it's just a spectacle to watch. I mean, same thing. Well, like, growing up, it was always amazing watching those. Especially Winter Classics. It's right on the New Year. You wake up, you get to watch them. It was always awesome. I remember wanting to go to a bunch as a kid. But for me, like, I've still heard a lot of people complain that the conditions aren't good. Like, as you spoke upon, California, Lake Tahoe didn't go down as everyone had hoped. But I do like seeing them in these colder places like Columbus. I think it really showcases how an area like Columbus, which doesn't always have the strongest hockey presence in there, it was cool to see them all come together, have a nice whole spectacle. They're going to show up. I mean, it's at Buckeye Stadium. People in there are going to show up. So it's really cool to see that out of it. And it's really nice to keep seeing that, and I hope it continues. and it seems like it definitely will continue throughout the years.
Columbus is in a playoff spot right now, so
Yeah.
the team
They're both wild card.
They were
Both wild card
well.
spots.
They probably are still tied 1-2. I don't know how the games went today, but yeah. As of when the game was happening yesterday, they were tied in points, and wild card 1-2. So it's a real big game. They're not just playing because it's a unique game, but this is their seasons. This could depend on it. I mean, we still got some time left, but who knows if there will be a tiebreaker? I could definitely see it this year.
Oh, definitely. So we're gonna transition into talking about our own teams. We've talked a lot about the past couple news. I mean, we had some injuries like to Marchand and stuff like that, and we'll talk more about those later. But Ken, we'll start off with you. Your Rangers, they've been interesting the past couple games, to say the least. I mean, you guys lost to Toronto, but you guys did great today. And you guys killed.
Preds aren't a very good team.
Yeah, Preds aren't very good. You guys killed the Islanders, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, speak upon your team. Tell
Yeah,
us what's going on.
Of course, I'm a Rangers fan. But this just isn't really the year for the Rangers. This season has obviously not gone as we wanted to, especially from last year, making a nice deep playoff run. But now we're on the outside looking in, and if we want to make the playoffs, which is not a guarantee, we really got to turn it up a notch. The win tonight was good over Nashville, but like I said, Nashville's not a very great team. We got to get some, more high-profile wins. We made a trade that we can talk about, so I'm excited to talk about that. Don't want to give away too much yet, but I'm hopeful that we could make a push to make the playoffs. And then once you get in the playoff, it's anybody's game. And I think the team as hungry as want it. You got some experience there, of course. No reason why the Rangers can't make a run, get a good matchup. If you gotta get it first. First things first.
I will say, the team is not much different than last year or previous years, except for obviously the trade that just happened. But so we all know that the Rangers have the ability to not just make the playoffs, but to make it far in the playoffs. And I think that this is a very unique opportunity because even if they do make the playoffs, I think they have the ability to make a deep run because we've seen it before. And I think just having all that momentum going into the end of the season, just if you just keep winning, rather than just not caring you have an easy spot. I mean, obviously you're gonna want to. I think they have a better chance than someone to be at the middle of the pack. So
I agree, and I mean you always have that standout goaltending. Things like that just stick on your head. I mean, Will, what's going on with your Sabres, bro?
Mm-hmm.
We always know that they've had issues. But what's going on? Because we were there, and we'll talk about that later. But what's going on with the Sabres?
I mean, this is what we've been asking the same question for the last 13 years or so. So it's very difficult. Some people think it's the players. We're too young. We're too naive. People think it's new coaching. I personally think the biggest problem is defensive coaching because, I mean, we have some pretty solid defensemen, if not, Dahlin, one of the top ones in the league. OP, he still makes a lot of mistakes, but he's clearly developing. Bo Byram. So, I mean, I've seen these guys play excellent, obviously, a few of them in the Four Nations, saw Bo Byram in on the Avalanche play. We've seen their potential. So what is it? It's got to be something. Is it chemistry? I mean, that's why for years we've been saying let's try to bring a new right-hand D or someone older for one of the young guys. But even then, if we do, it's not really making much of a difference. So I don't know. It's very interesting, and it's also some days we come out like we're a Pee Wee team, and some days we come out like we're playing a Game 7 in a Stanley Cup final, which is very not gonna happen anytime soon. But so I'm not really sure what's going on, but when they play well, they're exciting to see, and it's unfortunate because it's always ups and downs. you're all excited, and then it's like, oh, we have to watch another game. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll see some trades. Hopefully we'll see some good trades, and not just getting rid of people just because, we need to see a change. Because obviously that hasn't made a difference. We've shipped off a lot of our big names that we used to have, so. Yeah. What about you, Steve? Tell us about Sid the Kid.
Well, Penguins are not looking good. And we knew this. We knew this from the start. We're an older team. I mean, Carlson, you're not going to be able to deal him. We all know that.
His assist the other day.
Yeah.
To the other team.
Yeah, to the other team. I don't know. I mean, there's been some crazy things happening recently. The Penguins actually reportedly want to get younger, but they still want to build a cup contender around Crosby. And I understand he's still a great talent, and he's still one of the best teams in the league, but you got to figure out a rebuild at some point, and I don't know if we have what it takes right now. I think we do need to trade younger, and for some reason, our draft picks haven't been working out as much as we wish. So maybe we could trade some draft picks in capital and retain some salaries and get some young guys in. I mean, maybe the Sabres can help us out with that. But no, I mean the Penguins have sucked a lot. Started off the week losing to our rival, the Flyers, 6-1, and then immediately after started playing them again, and Alex Ovechkin let in 3 goals, gets pulled, has a huge fit. He had a very big fit because there were a couple goals that I don't think were his fault. But he's screaming on the bench, and yet somehow Pittsburgh was able to come back and ended up winning in that game, which was insane. Great overtime goal by Malkin to win it at the end. But then we go on the road, we hosted Boston at home. P.O. Joseph injured Brad Marchand on a pretty dirty hit. That was killer, but the Bruins were already up at that point and continued to stay up. And Boston took the win on that one again. But we did have the Delkovich getting back in there, getting a feel for himself again after benching him. I don't know what's going on with this Penguins team. I mean, we just lost to Toronto again today. It's been tough. We lost in overtime. Nylander had a really nice goal to win it in overtime. But dude, we gotta make some trades. We gotta figure out something because we are just way too old. We can't keep going in this direction. It's not gonna help us. And we just gotta figure out what's going on. Speaking of trades, here's a guest right here.
Hi, chat.
You have anything to say about recent hockey?
We've got nothing.
How about those Sabres? All right, chat.
Oh, Sabres suck. Patrick has joined into the lobby.
So Steve, are you more of a fan of blow it up and try to just keep Crosby and try to get younger, or are you trying to win now? Do you think you can sell off the rest of the duo, maybe some key players, and then reload instead of a full on rebuild?
I don't think you can get rid of the big 3. I don't think you can. Even though people have said F the big 3, it's just big me with Crosby. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to. I think you have to keep a couple of them, but I really want to get younger. I want to trade down. I want to get all these different things out of the way and sort of build a contender. But we're just too old at this point. So hopefully we can get some trades going. Speaking of your team, Caden, you guys just had a huge trade. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. We were able to unload VC and Lindgren. We kept a little bit of Lindgren's salary, though. In exchange, we got Parsonen, Calvin DeHam, and 2 picks, some conditional picks, which that's what I'm really excited about. We were able to get rid of some expensive guys, Lindgren and VC. They really were not doing anything that good for us this year, and we were able to unload off them and get younger, and maybe with some guys who aren't as good statistically, but I think younger is in that. Some guys with the high ceiling from the Avs. And those 2 picks, which I'm really excited about. We were able to get the conditional pick. So we picked which one is better in the second and the fourth round of next year's draft.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good trade for you guys. I mean, VC sucks this year, and he hasn't been performing well. I mean, we had Nyquist traded for a second-round pick to the Minnesota Wild. He played pretty well today. We had a huge trade last night with Seth Jones getting traded to the Panthers. He said he didn't want to go anywhere aside from Dallas or Florida, and he ends up going to Florida for a first-round pick in Spencer Knight. I know there's a lot of controversial ideas, and everyone thinks that the Blackhawks won that trade, but Will, what are your opinions on that one right there?
Well, also it was 20 or 75% retained, right? Or
25% retained. That's where the first round pick came in.
Yeah, I think that's a real big thing right there, obviously. And also, tiny bit of a side note here, but Matthew was put on long-term IR, which frees up around $8.5 million, which I'm not sure what the cap was like prior to getting Jones, but that's definitely going to be a help, and we'll see if there's going to be any more moves for them. But regardless, I mean, after winning last year, they're obviously still in a win now type of situation, and I thought it was interesting that they got rid of Knight, because, I mean, I don't know how many more years we got left of Big Bob, so, but I think it was a really, really good move for Chicago to get a goaltender, get some new scenery around there, and a good pick, too. Well, a first-round pick. So, we'll see what happens, but I think it's a win-win for both, as long as Bob is fine for the next year or so, which I think he's going to be perfectly fine for. So, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Seth Jones' contract is $3.9 million per year. That's his cap hit, I believe. So take out the retention as you will, but I feel like they have a lot of room to work. I mean, there's a lot of people that think that that's controversial. I mean, you've seen the Lightning do that multiple times with their players. Vegas has done it. Like it's a kind of like the NFL salary cap. You're moving people's contracts down the line and things like that. But it's very interesting to say. But there are some trade rumors. And I mean, I think either the Sabres fans in the room can speak on that. There's been a lot of talks between J.J. Peterka getting traded. People have been calling about him. Alex Tuck, Dylan Cousins, Bo Byram. But Sabres fans in the room, what do you guys feel about that?
Here's what I feel. Sabres are in a bad spot because, they have all these young players. They have these high draft picks, and they train them up pretty good, and then they trade them away. And I think it's been like that for the past, what would you say, Will?
Oh, God.
Long
as
time.
long as I can remember, really.
So you know what? We tried this approach, and I think we tried it very hard, and I think it's time for something different.
Yeah, and I mean, also when we do trade our young guys for something, it's usually younger guys. Or like, don't get me wrong. I love Devin Levi, but think about that Reinhardt trade. We trade him, we get I think it was like a first and a very young goaltender. I mean, are we gonna see the same thing? Hopefully not, but I just don't want to see us force away any players without a good reward. There's obviously a lot of pressure on our upper management, even the owners, but yeah, I just don't want to see us get rid of someone. And I mean, well, usually if we get rid of someone, they go win a cup in the next year or so. So that'd be great, but yeah, I just don't want to force anyone out.
What do you guys want realistically in return?
A good team. I mean, the Sabres have, in my opinion, a good spot where they can take the cap on for, trade away, similar to NFL, where like the Browns right now. If you're bad, you just take the salary cap and trade the player away for a pick, which is, I guess, what we've been doing. But, maybe do it for picks this time instead of just younger players.
Yeah, I don't know. We definitely need some more skill in the room, like veteran presence.
Sure.
I mean, you can see how good Zucker has done for us. A lot of people were, yeah, and he's also named up there for possibly getting traded, as he is only on a 1-year contract. But I don't want to see Zucker leave. I really like his game. But I think we need more guys like Zucker if we make a trade. So,
out of the guys that were reportedly getting calls, Cousins, Tuck, and Bo Byram, who would you want to see get traded? I wouldn't say the most, but who would you be okay with getting good compensation for, and who do you not want to see leave the Sabres?
I don't want to see Bo Byram leave. He's very young, as most of our team is, but yeah, I want to see us keep Bo. I really like Tuck, but I could see that. I don't think he's gonna get traded, but I think I could be okay with it if it's a good return. Cousins, I can definitely see happening, but I do not want us to trade him for a bag of rocks. Obviously, he hasn't played to what he has played as, or his what we thought he would be this year. But I could see that being a trade, and I could also see us getting rid of Henry Yoki.
I could see that as well.
You guys did just mention the other day, so
Yeah.
I'll say this. You know what? I think nobody's off the table. You know,
even Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
nope, everyone's available. Because, well, let's just face it, that's the state of the Sabres. They need to do something to get in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
So what's that got to be? Just get a good team? Trade for one of the top teams?
You gotta trade, I don't know.
You got Jack Eichel over there in Vegas looking pretty good.
You know, in hindsight, probably not the best, response by the Sabres organization, but you know what? That was in the past.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I think, we got our core guys down. We got a lot of young guys, though. So, I would hate to see some young guys go. They could be developing pretty well. However, you know what? If other teams think they can develop them more and they want to pay more than what they're worth, then go for it.
Well, I will say the Rochester Americans, the Sabres AHL team, is on a tear. They are number one in the AHL, and some of our young guns, especially our first-round pick, Lanius, he is also doing very well. Devin Levi is really doing well down there right now, as he had back-to-back shutouts the other day. But
Can't do that in the pros.
this is not yet. I mean, we've seen some.
We saw some good Devin Levi.
But he's only 23 years old, and I mean, a lot of people also thought the same of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for a while, as he struggled. And I mean, although his stats aren't crazy this year, I do think he's a very solid goaltender, and a lot of time he's just being left out to dry or on the penalty kill. But that's some more draft capital, and then also if we got rid of Cousins, I mean, you'll see a guy like Yuri Kulik. He's coming up. He's played great this season as a rookie, but we have a lot of great young guys, so we got to move someone so they can come up too.
Yeah, speaking on that, we were actually at the Sabres game against the Ducks the other day. Sabres went down really early. What was it? 2-0?
2-0.
2-0.
What did you say, end of the second?
End of the second, I
End of the
think.
second, yep.
Yeah, it was end of the second. Put a little bet on Sabres winning. Pat and I did. Paid out really nice when.
A little plus 385 bet.
Yeah,
little
plus 325 bet on me for me, but that was nice to see the payoff.
Nice to see one go in.
I mean, we're right in the 100 sections. It was nice to see some of the nice goals. I mean, Alex Tuck had a nice one on the
Yokiharu.
Henry Yoki-Haru had one of the best shots I've seen in a long time.
That was.
Yeah, for any of the GMs listening out there, put your bids in now. That guy's hot.
He is hot.
At the very least, a first round and a second round pick.
That's
pretty cheap. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 3 goals this year. Let's not forget that.
Hey, and they've all
been recently.
Let's not forget that.
But I mean, yeah, like he had JJ getting a nice goal off of a pass. You had Tuck getting a goal, and one of the best shots by Henry Yokiaru. Like, amazing player. I think hopefully you guys can get something for him. I mean, he goes ahead and he's been hot recently. Most hot player.
Right.
That's what we can say.
I can guarantee you that he will be the best 7th D on any team.
Yeah, he would definitely be the best.
And you know what?
7th
We got some Mo's for him scoring, so it all worked out.
Yeah, we did. Some Mo's hot
worked
players.
out.
Shout out.
The Mo's, if you want to sponsor us. No. Their line.
Hit our line, Mo's. We could really use it. Yeah, I mean, are there any other storylines anyone else has? This week, nothing really happened aside from potential trade rumors.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of wish he'd be a bit more successful, but Kirby Doc is out for the season with a knee injury, I believe. And as a Habs team that is also trying to make the playoffs, that's a bit of a blow for a young center.
And they got a nice win last night, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Go Sabres. But yeah, and then we have Hampus Lindholm, who was placed on a season-ending injury. He's definitely no crazy defenseman, but, after just losing Charlie McAvoy, that's a big blow for Boston, who is surprisingly fighting for a spot right now.
Yeah, very surprisingly. I mean, McAvoy's gone, and they just lost another defenseman. It's not looking good for that decor. Maybe look to them to deal Marchand.
Yeah, maybe bring in a defenseman. He's getting old, and I can't see it
I can't see it happening.
You never know, but I don't think they trade Marchand, especially because, he is a very important core member for skill, culture, and just experience. So, although there have been rumors, I would be pretty surprised to see that. I do think we will see Elias Pettersson get traded, though. As, who has more goals than him this month?
Is it going to be Henry?
Well, Henry, yeah. But he scored a big goal the other night.
Oh, are you talking about Ilya Sorokin?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that should count as a goal. For those that don't know, shot went right off his pads and no one touched it, and it went right into the empty net, and they count it as a goalie goal. So technically, it was another goalie goal if you want to count it like that. I don't know if it should count off the pads. I don't know if you can really give it to him because, yes, goaltenders can go ahead and angle it. How much of that is actually going to be focused on that? Maybe with a blocker, if you want to consider that, or catching it and throwing it down, you can give him an assist, or even just shooting it, obviously. But something off the pads, I don't know if you can count that. I mean, am I on the wrong here?
I would say count it.
You want to just count it? Because I think yes, but that's like saying it. I guess if it hits off.
If it's empty netter, you know what? Count it.
Okay. What if there's a goalie there?
Well, then no.
Oh.
Because how often do goalie goals happen with goalies in the net?
Not often.
That's what I'm saying. You can't take
that
away.
Never mind. I take that back.
You can't take that away from those goalies that have made that happen. The miracle happen. Yeah. So you know what? Empty netter, count it.
I don't know if it has happened. It probably.
I'm sure it's happened.
I don't know.
That's that history. So you know what? Game change history. That's my take.
Yeah, good enough.
How about that trade deadline? When is it?
It's coming up.
Friday, March 7th.
March 7th.
Oh, wow. Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Expect for a lot of big deals. Alex Tuck's going to be leaving.
Nope.
I don't think
Dylan
so.
Cousins is coming to Pittsburgh.
Oh, God, I would hate that.
I
want to
rumors,
see...
Rumors is he's going to Minnesota.
By the way, Will, I stewed on it.
Or
You're
Marcus.
definitely right. We should trade some young players away and get a couple of vets.
That's what
Good
you guys
take.
seem to always do, though.
Good take.
Kyle Boso.
Oh, he was free agent.
Okay, well. I don't know. I feel like you guys need more than just... veteran presence could
Well, we
definitely
need
help.
something,
But who's
Steve.
going to want to come to Buffalo? I guess if you force
Somebody
a
that loves
trade...
the wings.
Yeah, the wings.
Yeah.
The wings are pretty good.
No, the chicken wings.
Yeah.
Not the Detroit Red Wings.
Not the
Yes.
Detroit Red Wings, no. The chicken wings.
The chicken wings.
I think we're
From
gonna
where?
have to trade for Elias Pettersson or Brock Besser.
Podcast is sponsored by Duff's.
I wish it was sponsored by Duff's.
Wing nuts. Wing Wednesdays, $1 for
Per wing?
$1 a wing.
That's not that good of a deal.
For wing nuts, it is.
Oh, okay. Like a Christmas tree all over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be some big trades coming. Hopefully,
Oh, there definitely will be.
Hopefully, Buffalo can make it.
I'm just glad I'm not a GM. This is too stressful.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. You know what? You can't do worse than the Sabres, you know. Nobody expects you to make the playoffs. So.
Or the Giants.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Well, anyone else have any last thoughts?
Would you rather be the GM of the Giants or the Sabres?
God.
Definitely the Sabres because I didn't get exposed this past off season.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
true
you know,
on
the
Hard
Giants
Knocks.
GM,
Yeah.
Yep. At least the Sabres GMs.
Yeah.
Making all those mistakes in private.
I think also the Sabres, like, I mean, you have talent to work with. You have young guys. It's just getting them to do it.
Yep.
And you got the Amerks.
Well, didn't the Giants just sign a really good running back? Oh, wait. They just won a Super Bowl.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, it's Saquon. How about you, Caden? You don't want to answer the question?
Oh man, that's sad.
He'd rather be nobody.
You'd rather be...
Yeah, at least I'm not the GM of the Mavs.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Luka, yeah.
That's tough.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Blame Podcast. Hope to see you guys next week.
Bye, chat.